So this was very hurtful news that came to me this morning, and now I have to talk about the controversy behind my favorite movie. And obviously we're talking about Michael Oher and The Blind Side, and man, this has turned into a mess. So if you guys remember the movie Blind Side, it came out in 2009. It was about Michael Oher, who was homeless and was very poor, and obviously the Tuohys took him in, brought him into his home, and he played football, and turned out he was this great football player that went on to go into the NFL. So they did like they did a movie kind of telling his story as probably Michael Oher will put it. The movie came out, it was a big hit, made $300 million at the box office. And now Michael Oher has more problems than he's had before. So Michael Oher's always had a problem with this movie, but now it's getting so bad as we jump to this article here that Michael Oher is given a 14-page petition filed in Shelby County, Tennessee, alleging that Sean and Leanne Tuohy, who took Oher to their home as a high school student, never adopted him. And it goes on to say that instead he claims the couple tricked him into signing a document making them as conservators, which gave them legal authority to make business deals in his name. So the article goes on to say that obviously they made more than $300 million from the movie, and that they lied to him saying that they adopted him when they really didn't. So we didn't really have ties to the name, which means legally they didn't have to pay him, I guess. And that's what he claims. He said he never got any money from the movie while the rest of the family members got $225,000. And this actually goes against the Tuohy's claim, saying that they did pay Michael Oher along with everybody else in the family their cut of the money. And they would say this way back in 2010. So, okay, this is a loaded situation because, again, Michael Oher has not been in favor of this movie at all. He says it's not really portrayed him well and this isn't really what happened. And he said this for years. And I remember because a book came out first in 2006. And I remember a long time ago, I read that book and there were some things that didn't line up with the movie. Like, obviously, like the movie kind of portrays him like he never played sports before ever and he really struggled. But according to the book, he had played football before, played basketball before. And at the school, he actually played on the basketball team. So I remember that from reading it a long time ago. But yeah, like Hughes been against this movie. I think he's even wrote his own book now, which I assume probably is trying to clear everything up on what really happened. But this is new because this is an attack on the Tuohy family itself, not just the producers and the people who made the movie. So yeah, this is a mess. And to go as far as to say that they lied and say they never really adopted him, which is absolutely crazy to think about. Again, it's rough for me to even talk about this because, again, this is my favorite movie. I love this movie so much. I've seen it a whole bunch, like dozens and dozens of times. But yeah, apparently, according to Michael Oher, it's them and the Tuohy family is fake. So we'll see how this plays out and how this court petition goes. And if the Tuohys haven't responded yet, we'll see if they respond sometime soon. But the one thing I will say, I find it incredibly ironic because if you go back, if you watch the movie, there's like a part, and a big part of it is like, there's like an NCAA rep that interviews Michael Oher and questions the Tuohy motivation for bringing him to the home in the first place. They doing it for their own gain, for the gain of Ole Miss. And it's funny now that 14 years later, now Michael Oher is assuming the same thing and trying to tell the court that this is exactly what it was, that the Tuohy did not have the right motivation going into this. So I kind of find that painfully ironic. But yeah, again, obviously this is family drama. So obviously with this is not, I'm sure this isn't going to end well for both sides, no matter what the outcome is. But it's just crazy when you just think about the movie and how big the movie was. Like Sandra Bullock won awards for it. The movie itself won awards. So for it to come to this and that the movie and his adoption is a lie is really just crazy to think about. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the Tuohy family? Do you think he really was adopted? Do you think like Michael Oher is just doing this for money, or does he have a point? And another thing I will say too is like, I think also, especially when you talk about like Oher's like questioning of like the movie and how it portrayed him, I guess it does bring up another interesting point too, when like people make these movies that are like based on true stories and stuff, that like, what's like the ethical part of it? Like where do you draw the line of dramatizing it for entertainment and then also telling the truth, right? So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about that too? And man, this is going to be a very messy situation.